Hey everybody, Dusty Pendergrass and Lance Bauer here with you today. We are going to do kind of a recap of our first webinar, going over contemporary groups and answering some questions about those. Lance, thanks for being on with us today. I know you've been working quite a bit with producers and just staff in general to help answer questions that are frequently asked and other things that come up. Something that really you seemed to hit hard on during that webinar was the importance of proper management groups. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So if you look on the BBU website under the codes, you can find a form that has different codes for different management strategies with the calves for weaning, for yearling. Using those codes allows us to properly assign contemporary groups. So if you tuned in, which we had a really good crowd tune into our first webinar, and I know a lot of other people watched it online afterwards, but contemporary groups are one of the key elements in calculating EPDs, and so these management codes help us form our contemporary groups properly. So utilize those, and if you have any questions, give us a call at the office. Talk to myself or Dusty. We can help you out.
Now, something else that we hit on quite a bit and actually got quite a bit of feedback on is adjusted traits and what they are, what they mean, and how we utilize them.
Okay, so yeah, that was one of the biggest questions, I think, and it's always a question even before this webinar is, what is an adjusted trait and why do we use adjusted traits? So what we do is we standardize those traits. So weaning weight, we standardized to 205 days of age. And we use factors to standardize those animals, because we know not all animals in a contemporary group are born on the same day. So 205 days is about average of when you would wean a calf. So we take into account the actual age of the calf, the age of the dam goes into that, the sex of the calf. All of that goes into calculating that 205-day adjusted weight. And the same goes for the 365-day weight. So, you've got those age windows that you can scan in or that you can weigh in. Those can also be found on our website under weights and measures. There's actually a chart that tells you when you can weigh animals born on different days.
Now, with those, really, we're just adjusting those measurements taken and submitted, and we're just using them to really compare apples to apples.
Yes.
There's no reason to compare things that, well, we can't. Something else that we get asked quite a bit is performance numbers and certificate numbers. What in the world is the difference? Why use either one of them?
So a performance number is assigned to an animal. Actually, all animals that are registered now have a performance number assigned to them. This performance number, you don't ever see if you just strictly register those animals. But that performance number allows you to put animals into a contemporary group, even if you're going to cull those animals. So I talked about the importance of recording an entire contemporary group so that you don't bias your data towards the better animals and really hurt those better animals by removing the lower end ones from your contemporary group. So recording a performance number, you don't have to register that animal, but that performance of that animal is there. Now, certificate number or C number, that's on an animal that is registered, and those are also in the contemporary group. But the P number allows you to record performance without having to do the full registration.
Now, if you are on whole herd reporting, there is no price difference in using a P number or anything different associated with that, right?
There is not. So, go ahead, and if you're on whole herd reporting and you want to register everything, I say go for it, do it. Even if you cull it, just make sure you dispose of it.
Absolutely. So something else that we get asked fairly commonly, whenever we start getting into utilizing artificial insemination or embryo transfer, IVF, etc., as we start getting those calves on the ground, how do we separate them into these management groups, and what are the proper things to do when submitting that data?
Okay, so your AI and your natural calves, because they are in their natural dam, in that natural and that environment that they would be in inside of the dam that is their mother, they AI and natural calves can be in the same contemporary group. So if I AI a bunch of cattle and then come in with a cleanup bowl right afterwards, and then DNA everything, those cattle can all be in the same contemporary group. Now, embryo transfer calves, because you're taking them out of that environment of their biological mother and putting them into a recipient dam, they become their own contemporary groups. And if what you need to do to make sure those embryo calves go into a contemporary group is make sure you record what type of dam you put those calves in, so that the breed type, if you use registered cattle, you can do that as well. But make sure you record that, so animals that are ET calves will go into, say I have a bunch of just Beefmaster E6 females. I would put Beefmaster cross females. That way, those animals all get put in the same contemporary group if they're embryos. On the weaning management code, there's actually a code for embryos, and it's code C. So any embryo calf is a code C. And those animals can be in their own contemporary group, but they'll never be in a contemporary group with animals that are either AI or natural.
Very fair, very fair. Now, I believe that it is important to structure your management groups correctly. I believe that the correct data is way more important than just a quantitative bulk sum of information. Can you tell us a little bit about how to properly structure these management groups? That way we get a true unbiased set of ratios.
So I think really to unbias everything goes back to the C numbers and P numbers and recording everything. And then further, say I've got a ranch and I've got two separate pastures, and I raise one set of calves in one pasture and one in another. Each of those pastures is going to be its own contemporary group, because while it may not seem like it, that fence line, there may be some different nutrients in the soil. The plants may be different in one. I may decide to treat feed one group. So making sure that you properly structure and record what you do with those calves is crucial.
Absolutely. Well, Lance, I really appreciate you sitting down and spending some time with us. It's great information, and we definitely look forward to spending more time with the webinars and visiting with producers as well as we can. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and feel free to reach out to us at any point. We're here to answer questions and be utilized any way that we can. So thank you for joining us, and please feel free to send back, more questions, things you want to hear about, things you want to learn about, and we'll be sure to get some of that information out to help you learn as we go along.
And thank you.